It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you tune into World Combat Sports.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. Hopefully, everyone is doing great today, starting off your work week. Shout out to everyone who had to go in, and work through these trials and times of the pandemic. I'm definitely giving you a shout out because it's hard out there for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Out there on the grind, providing for themselves and their families. Salute to you. Salute to Team Williams Jr. You know what it is. Shout out Fayetteville, North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Be sure y'all check out my interview I did with the legendary box father Skip Crumpler. He had dropped through in North Carolina. It's been a long time coming with me to get this interview because most of the time, no culpability of his, but he was busy. He had fighters on deck, so we wasn't able to lock it in. But it's been done. And I'm pretty sure you would appreciate it for somebody who likes Skip Crumpler, who's mastered basically being a cut man, wrapping hands, and also bringing fighters to boxing. Some of the fighters that you see out there right now, some of the boxers with some of the big names is out there. They have a Skip fighter on their record. Seriously, they have a Skip fighter. They'll be the first one to say so-and-so a bum and everything. But they have Skip fighters on their record. That is an absolute truth and the reality that Skip Crumpler has a name out here in boxing as bringing fighters off the couch from the hood to the boxing ring for someone's record. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it didn't work out for the person who was thinking they was getting a soft touch off the couch. Sometimes they got defeated. I mean, I've actually witnessed it. You know what I'm saying? Some people wasn't prepared that his fighter probably had pretty decent hands in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But they soon found out. But be sure to check that video. I just posted it on YouTube. Hey, the topic of the day, you knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, shout out to Shakur Stevenson, Newark, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? He's currently campaigning at the junior lightweight division right now. But man, I have to tell you this guy right here is absolutely in a position where a lot of people are overlooking him. And they truly don't know that is the conqueror right now in boxing as he moves forward. He is the emperor of boxing, whether people want to, believe it or not. I'm prognosticating it. I'm putting it out there ahead of time because it's going to play out in front of you in the next 2 or 3 years. I believe wholeheartedly what Shakur Stevenson is going to be able to do within that time frame will be absolutely history making in the sport of boxing. Now, of course, he himself, he has to be the executor. He has to be the executor. He has to go out here and make it look in a way that separates him from others before the way he goes out here and get it done. He has to do it in a way that it's considered special. His skill set is special right now. He is a special individual. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of people that's keeping him in the dark. So that's why my thumbnail is the way it is, people. You know what I'm saying? That is the reason why my thumbnail is the way it is. Because people keeping them in the shade, but it's light. No doubt about it. It is light for sure. It's only a matter of time before a fighter that's already world champion and he's 15-0. It's only a matter of time before he begins to get those big fights. It's only a matter of time before he steps into the ring with some of the bigger names in the sport as he continued to elevate his divisional as he starts to compete in these higher divisions. You know, whatever's on his roster, I just see Shakur Stevenson doing very, very well at it. Sensational. I mean, I admire what he's been able to accomplish in boxing thus far. But his mindset, his mentality, the fact that he cried in getting a silver medal, the fact that I believe that is not hunting him, but is fueling him to do better as a boxer out here in the sport. Salute to everyone that's in the live chat, man. Smoking Joe, let's go. Mark Nash, what's good? What's good, Tone? Salute to you. Andrew in the building, salute. Appreciate you dropping through. I don't know why Shakur Stevenson is being overlooked when he's actually one of those boxers who is on the hunt, so to speak. He's marching forward with a vengeance. And I know people hear him talk, but what I appreciate from Shakur Stevenson and what he's doing, he's staying away from social media at this point. He's going to steadily build. He's going to continue to compile. He's going to continue to enhance his accolades. And before you know it, people are going to look at him like, hey, you know, Shakur Stevenson, he's 3-division champion already. And if by chance he chooses to unify at 130-pound division, the junior lightweight, that's only going to enhance him going forward. And he's a young killer in the game. I know a lot of people talk about his fight with Toka Conclari, and he didn't knock him out. That's fine, because you can't get a knockout every fight. But we cannot deny the fact that Shakur Stevenson can box. Absolutely, Shakur Stevenson can box. I've had the opportunity to see him in person. The man can absolutely box his ass off. And anybody who's looking at that and considering him to be, you know, I don't know, a boxer without growth, I don't know what to tell you, because the going forward, anyone that's in the division that he's that's in front of him should be they should have some concerns. I'm not gonna lie. They should have some deep concerns about Shakur Stevenson, man. I don't know why so many people are not mentioning him in the narrative. The man is an absolute problem. Shakur Stevenson is one of the best boxers in the sport right now. But we all know you can only move as fast as some of the promotions allow you to move. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of it. Another thing I liked, and some people may take it the wrong way just hearing it. You know, they may be impulsive about it. But I'm glad he fired Andre Ward, because something wasn't there for Shakur Stevenson. So he fired Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? Hall of Fame Andre Ward. But you know what? When Shakur Stevenson's career is over, he would have superseded that of Andre Ward. Believe that. Believe that. It's a lot of fighters that we're looking at today that's basically considered special, considered, you know, some of the best out here in the sport. But I'm telling you, his ground floor right now, coming off the Olympics, being a silver medalist, being as young in the game as he is, his tenaciousness, his ring IQ, how smart he is intellectually in the ring, his drive, his discipline, having the opportunity myself to see him, you know, where it all started. I actually have some video footage, you know, that I was able to get at his gym. Shout out to Boylan Street Recreation Center in Newark. I have some video footage I haven't been released yet, because I'm waiting for that moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for that moment, because there's some pictures. There's some pictures in there that and some video that you can only get if you visit Newark from the gym. So, you know, when I'm looking at him and how he's interacting with the kids, and how, you know, he had that incident in the street, Shakur Stevenson has since realized that, you know what, I need to chill. I need to focus on what I'm here to make a living off of. That is the sport of professional boxing. I need to put more out there for the people to see. So when it comes time for Shakur Stevenson to be in front of the cameras on the bigger stage to be that PPV star, he will have a lot more people behind him than what we've seen in the past. And that's the only challenge that I see that's there for Shakur Stevenson outside of his God-given ability to come out here and box, is winning over the American fans, the black boxing fans, the Mexican boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? The Caucasian boxing fans here in the USA. You have to win them over. In order for you to be a grand PPV star, you have to win them over. I think Shakur Stevenson has what it takes to win them over. The reason why I'm saying that, you see Shakur Stevenson on there, and shout out to Joshua Greer Jr., Don't Blink, out of Chicago. You see Shakur Stevenson doing stuff that a lot of young fighters are not doing. He was in the corner of Joshua Greer Jr. As young as he is, he was actually in the corner. Now, a lot of people may laugh that off and say, well, you know, they over there playing around. No, they ain't playing around. I mean, that team is very much serious about the sport. Serious going ahead and competing. Everybody can't compete like the next man. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some difference in levels. So Shakur Stevenson is doing grown man shit. You know, he's already integrated himself in the sport of boxing. He's teaching. He's being taught, and he's doing the teaching. And that to me is showing maturity. It's not only going to help him right now, but it's going to help him with the boxing fans moving forward. How many boxers his age have you seen working a corner? And people respect him for working the corner. You know what I'm saying? And then on TV, you know, they asked him about his upcoming fight with Toka Clary. And Shakur Stevenson said one of the most savage one-liners in this modern time. He said it's going to be a massacre. And now massacres, you know, the word itself is a very vicious type of word. You know, it's a very, you know what I'm saying? It means nothing but devastation, destruction, and mayhem. You know what I'm saying? That's what a massacre is. He went in there and dominated the fight. It was partially a massacre, but we don't know what a massacre is when it comes to the boxing. Is it outpointing a lopsided decision? Or is it going in there showing the fans that you can straight up box the ears off your opponent and get the win and never being in trouble? Recently, it came out that Shakur Stevenson was laughing at the top 5 of the lightweight division. And the fact that he probably looks at that as a domicile that he would more than likely want to compete in if he could right now. But he has to he's being patient. He has to pick up that championship at 130 because that's gonna place him as a 2-division champion. And then his stock is only gonna rise. I mean, he's still young in the game, people. I just can't say it enough. We have so much young talent that's out here. He's still young in the game, 23 years old. These fighters who are young like that, man, they have a huge freaking boxing landscape ahead of them. It's just up to them on how they set the itinerary up. You know what I'm saying? The entire planning process. It's totally up to them. But him starting off at featherweight and picking up a title, seriously, I don't see Shakur Stevenson leaving the sport no less than a 5-division champion. No less than a 5-division champion. That's just me. That's what I am seeing out of Shakur Stevenson. He's a very special fighter. But not only him being a special fighter, It's the fact on how he goes out here and authoritate when he was in the ring. He let it be known he's going in here to get it in, and he's going to try to put on a show. He's not overly flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? He's not overly boisterous and garrulous when it comes down to it. He gets straight to the point. And that's what I like about his demeanor. You know what I'm saying? He talks just enough to get your attention. But yet when he goes in there, man, he's showing that he's a student of the sport. He's showing that he's levels above. He's showing that there's an astounding amount of potential that he has as he moves forward in the sport of boxing. And it's very, very interesting, to be honest. It's just absolutely interesting to me. And people, I know you're going to laugh at the title of the Emperor, but guess what? You will find out. I'm serious. The next cash cow, the big cash cow of boxing, believe me, I'm not talking about, in the next 2 years. I'm talking about when he hits his, competitive edge, when he starts getting the big fights and increasing his level of competition. Shakur Stevenson will be a household name in the sport of boxing. He will be the cash cow. He will be in a position as we see Canelo Alvarez right now, Floyd Mayweather. I believe Shakur Stevenson will be that fighter that will be in the same position. But in the end, he would have had equal the amount of divisions as Floyd Mayweather, more than Canelo Alvarez, and potentially he may leave the sport as a 6th division champion. His mentality takes me back to the Roy Joneses. You know what I'm saying? His mentality as a fighter to go out here and accomplish things, Evander Holyfields, to accomplish feats, to set goals and objectives. He gives me that energy that's what he's about. That's what I see from Shakur Stevenson. He's going to be way bigger than what you're seeing right now. Like a lot of people might say, well, what about, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence and all that? Listen, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, all those guys, not taking anything away from them. Not taking nothing from Canelo. But look at the division that Shakur Stevenson starting out from. Look at the division he's already earned a championship from. Check out his age. All you have to do is line that up with how large his freaking optic is moving forward. How long will he be in the sport, so to speak? We also gotta we have to look at the durability aspect of it. He has to remain durable and resilient and healthy to accomplish what I'm saying right here. In order for him to accomplish those feats, he definitely has to stay healthy. But right now, for what I'm seeing, as far as the sweet signs, Shakur Stevenson is a special fighter that's on the top tier level right now. And some of those cats in the lightweight division better be damn glad that he doesn't have a belt or two already at the junior lightweight division, because I'm telling you, he would absolutely shake up the lightweight division right now. Right now, because we hyped up off Ryan Garcia for coming off the canvas, man. We hyped up Ryan Garcia for coming off the canvas, and I call bullshit on that. I call absolutely and utter bullshit off Ryan Garcia getting off the canvas, because I guarantee you this: if Shakur Stevenson was getting off the canvas, they would say, "Oh, he's overhyped. He's overhyped." We thought so much of him. No wonder he got silver. He couldn't get gold because he's overhyped. But we're going to praise Ryan Garcia for getting out the canvas? No. I believe Shakur Stevenson right now boxes Ryan Garcia his earlobes, just like when freaking Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear and spit it out on the canvas. Shakur Stevenson boxes Ryan Garcia ears off to the point where they land off on the canvas. And they have to call people in to collect it and put it in a sample jar and say, hey, we'll just sew these back on once the fight is over with. Do you want to continue the fight? Can you still hear what your corner, the instructions that your corner is giving you? Okay, cool, Garcia. We're gonna let you continue. Shakur Stevenson boxes Ryan Garcia's ears off right now. Seriously, I truly believe that. And it's disappointing that as media, it's people that's boosting this kid up from getting off the canvas. So Baranchik and Cepeda knock each other the fuck out. I mean, down several times. They get praised. Oh, fight of the year. But now I got to call it once again for the bullshit it is. Because the fighters that look like me, they're not getting praised for getting off the canvas. Terrence Crawford, he gets dropped by Kavaliauskas. He doesn't get praised. Oh, he was hurt. He got exposed. I don't know what, when I was coming up, it was elementary and high school. I'm not sure what grade level certain individuals learned the word exposed, but it must have been so fascinating to them. They said, oh shit, I got to write this on my hand. Exposed. That's a $3.50 word. I got to use it every time a boxer is placed in a predicament. No one's giving Crawford. No one's freaking cheering Sean Porter for getting off the canvas when Errol Spence knocked him down in the 11th round. And I'm keeping this shit 100, man. So definitely don't expect them to do Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson gets dropped. They're going to say, oh, man, what a bummer. It was so much riding behind Shakur Stevenson. But I can tell you what, Shakur Stevenson, he's going to do anything in his power to never be placed in that position. If he has the damn box at distance, he's going to. If you don't earn his respect, and a boxer like Ryan Garcia may have more power. But Shakur Stevenson and the pressure he puts on, if Ryan Garcia is not able to hurt him in any way, shape, or form, how is he going to keep somebody off of him like that? That's what they're going to have to figure out. Seneca J, what's good? Milo in the building. Black Sports TV, salute to you. Milo said, would have liked to see Gary Russell Jr. versus Shakur. See, I agree. Hold up, y'all. I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah, I'm good now. I don't know why we was on that, but everyone that's in the building, man, appreciate you. World Combat Sports, man. I'm just highlighting who I consider the emperor of boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's time 2021. I spoke a little on him, a little bit, and now I'm 2020. But I have to admit that when it comes to Shakur Stevenson's star power and his boxing ability, I even put him above Devin Haney when it comes to his, overall astuteness, overall skill set, and sweet signs. I do. It would be a good fight to see him and Devin Haney. Seriously. And we're not talking about power for power. We're just talking about boxer to boxer, skill for skill. I believe overall, Shakur Stevenson's mindset and his ability to dig into his cachet and make changes in the ring, I think it supersedes a lot of fighters that's out there. But since he's not in their division, they don't really want to recognize it. They don't want to recognize how good Shakur Stevenson, because right now he's in the lower division. But when he finally reaches the 135-pound division and stays there, it's going to be some fighters that's there now. They would have moved up to 140 already. That's just the truth of the matter. The titles are going to be open soon. It depends on what Teofimo Lopez is planning on doing if he fights Kambosos next. What he plans on doing after that, we have to see. But ultimately, it's going to be some people moving up from the 135-pound division. Now, there's a lot of people that's wanting to see a certain fight, for the unification. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it doesn't mean there won't be anybody else there to attempt to unify the 135-pound division. Because check this out. Mikey Garcia was a unified champion. You know what I'm saying? When Lomachenko picked up a belt, Lomachenko went in a hurry to fight Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, when he was, frolicking around, went up to damn 140 to fight Sergey Lipinets and won that title. You know what I'm saying? Went the distance. Went back down, fought Robert East to pick up the IBF. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, hey, I see something. I see something, people. I'm going up here to 147 because I see something that nobody else sees in Spence. So we all know how that worked out. So we've had fighters recently unify the 135-pound division. We had Mikey Garcia. We had the Vasyl Lomachenkos. And now we have the Teofimo Lopez's. We do. But who's going to be next? That's going to be a tough question to answer. Because by then, once Teofimo Lopez move up to 140 and the belts are loose, either one or two things going to happen. You may have Team Haney hanging out to try to unify and pick up another strap because they was making it such a big deal. They only had 1 or 2 fights remaining. And the reason why I mentioned Haney, because he is the other champion. He is the WBC champion there at 135. So depending on how long he stays at the division, if he moves up before Shakur Stevenson get there, it's going to be very interesting. Because I do believe Gervonta Davis is going to be there for a good minute. Ryan Garcia, a good minute. Seriously, they're going to be there. They're going to be there for a good minute. You're going to have a lot of names that's still there. But when you're talking about individuals that have the opportunity to be champions at 135, I believe we're going to have enough names there. So when Shakur Stevenson finally makes it to 35, it's going to be some solid matchups. Not only do I believe Shakur Stevenson can unify at 130 pounds, I believe he can unify when he moves up to 135 pounds. I just see that. Now, we have a lot of solid names. The 135-pound division is going to be electric in the next 2 years. It's going to be absolutely electric. It doesn't matter if Teofimo is not there. It doesn't matter if Devin Haney's not going to be there. We have some rising talent that's going to be in the 135-pound division. That's going to make these fights much more interesting in the upcoming couple of years. And by the end, Shakur Stevenson would have came to the 135-pound division. You know, we have Chris Colbert lurking around. I mean, come on, man. Say what you want. Say what you want. But you have some talent that's out here floating around that people are not putting too much emphasis in because they don't want to. It's not good news. You know, they're not popular names, you know what I'm saying, to talk about. See, being the fact that, you know, I'm not really doing this shit for, just the overall full-time viewership and all that. I can mention the names as they're on the rise because, you know, looking at who we have out here right now, and you probably say, you know, why we didn't mention Vasyl Lomachenko? Because Vasyl is getting older. All right. And then I remember the last time I said this, oh, he ain't that old. When I say Vasyl Lomachenko is getting older, I'm talking about his amateur, the tread on the tires from his amateur career, 2-time gold standard Olympian, to now. Lomachenko is about, you know, in boxing years, he should be close to 40 years old, man. Lomachenko has a lot of motherfucking tread. Like I say always, you can't send a fighter in there to fight for you. And then you come in the 6th round and say, hey, good job, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to close this shit out, bro. I'm going for a knockout. I feel good. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You cannot work it that way. There's no way you can work it that way. When Shakur Stevenson and Chris Colbert in the next couple of years decide to move up, it's going to be interesting. And along with that, you may have the Oscar Valdez. It's according to how he does in the Miguel Burchelt fight. You know what I'm saying? You have Oscar Valdez that may move up also. You have Abraham Nova that's still sitting out there. I don't know if Tevin Farmer is going to move up, to the lightweight division. I seriously doubt it. You know what I'm saying? You have several, but I'm talking about only the big names, people. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about Albert Bell now. Albert Bell is like Robert Easter. Some tall fighters. He has his flaws, he has his pluses, and he has his minuses. But I'm telling you, some of these fighters may think about staying at a certain division for a good period of time. It's according if they have youth on their side until certain fighters leave. Seriously. They might do that. Just like, say, for instance, perfect example, Felix Verdejo. He just coming off a loss to Masayushi Nakatani, right? So let's just say that Nakatani, with his height and everything, in the next year, he decides to move up. You know what I'm saying? So looking at the landscape of the competitors that's ahead for somebody like Felix Verdejo, he might say, you know what, why don't I just wait this shit out? See where I'm at. See who I want to step in there, because we can't deny the fact that if certain people leave the 135-pound division, it's going to open up some doors for somebody like Felix Verdejo, who we just seen stopped, potentially be on the door for another title shot. Also, I can say the same thing about Nakatani. We have some big names out here, but they better hurry up. Shakur Stevenson is on his way. Shakur Stevenson is on the fucking way, dog. This guy is going to do some shit different. A lot of people may not want to accept that or digest it, but Shakur Stevenson, and when it comes down to it, he's going to be the emperor of boxing, man. He's going to conquer that shit. And he's going to do it in a way where people, you're not going to have too many names to compare him to. It's going to be almost like, Canelo Alvarez pound for pound right now. I see the biased motherfucking pound for pound list, not to segue off the topic. But it's going to get to a point where Shakur Stevenson may potentially be in that position. You know what I'm saying? He has to continue to increase his opposition. Not only that, he has to fight individuals that, according to what division they're in, he needs to fight somebody that's high in the rankings to place himself on the pound for pound list. Once he get on the pound for pound list, and if he's able to do it in his third division or whatever division he chooses to just stay there and collect titles, not the 130 pound, I'm talking about 35 on up. If he's able to place himself in a position to get be on the pound for pound list, then is going to get very, very interesting from there with his star power. His star power will be through the roof. There's going to be a changing of the guard. Canelo Alvarez, top pound for pound, is not going to be changed over to Ryan Garcia. I know a lot of people would love for that to happen, but it ain't going to happen. Two different style fighters. And in my opinion, I think Ryan Garcia, his bravado and the way he is supported by his fans. And I know a lot of U.S. fans adore and appreciate and support Ryan Garcia, but you cannot come into the sport making all these videos on social media, having all these followers, and come in here with the jacket of flaws the way you do, because boxing will support you 1 minute, and for the next 30 days, they will hate you. That's just the way boxing fans are. They'll support you for 1 minute, and the next 30 days they will hate you. There's no way Ryan Garcia is going to get away with what we've seen in there. There's no way that I'm going to sit up here and digest what I witnessed in there with Ryan Garcia, with people just boosting this man's ego. Ryan Garcia got off the canvas. Oh my God. He has tremendous amount of heart. He's incredible talent in the sport. Luke Campbell called him flush on the chin. But when he stood up, he pressed the gas. He closed distance. He showed no fear. But what about him being on the canvas to begin with, people? He never should have been there. He never should have been there if he's trying to establish himself at the hierarchy of the lightweight division when Vasyl Lomachenko never touched the canvas. What I mean by him never touching the canvas, I'm talking about with Luke Campbell. We're talking about common opponents. We're not talking about Jorge Linares. We're talking about Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell never dropped Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko is still rated in the top 3 of the lightweight division by many, even with no belts. Vasyl Lomachenko still sits on the top pound for pound list with no fucking belts. All he has is his Olympic credentials. They still have this man on the pound for pound list, y'all. So when I saw Ryan Garcia go in there and compete against Luke Campbell, if he would have dropped Luke Campbell and finished him without being knocked down, the question may have been different. I even said this before the fight. I say that the question would have been different. If he goes in there and do it better, then the question may have arose differently when they talk about the top 3 in the lightweight division. But I'm looking at a cat like Shakur Stevenson, who wouldn't even place himself in a position as such to get dropped by a B level. I got to give Luke Campbell that. He is Olympic gold medalist. I would give him a B- fighter. You know what I'm saying? From my understanding, he was dropped with the Lomachenko fight, but that was the first time he's been stopped. So I got to give him a B-. He did go over there. He did go in there and drop Ryan Garcia. But when I look at Shakur Stevenson, I don't even think he would have even placed himself in a vulnerable position to be dropped by someone the caliber of Luke Campbell. I don't see it. There's a disparity and an open gap when it comes to the ring IQ right now of Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia. King Mitch in the building. Salute to you. Milo said that's why Loma's shoulders keep giving out. Alexander in the building. Salute WCS, man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, my brother. What's good? Speak your mind, sports talk. Ryan Garcia gets stopped by Teofimo Lopez. Ryan probably gets stopped by Tank. I believe Ryan's get totally outboxed by Devin Haney. I can't disagree with any of what you just said. If I did, I'll tell you. But I'm just my visual is the same as your visual. Teofimo Lopez will damn near catch a homicide fighting Ryan Garcia. Serious. It'll be a damn near homicide. He would destroy Ryan Garcia. I think he destroys Ryan Garcia in under 6 rounds. The way Ryan Garcia looked, for anyone, and you listen to me, anyone who is advocating and out here behind the mic saying that Ryan Garcia is ready for Teofimo Lopez, that is preposterous. For Ryan Garcia to get off the canvas from a B- level fighter as Luke Campbell, and he is praised with all the accolades and adorations. That is called biasness. When you're basically placing Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis behind Ryan Garcia to step in with Teofimo Lopez, okay, that's extreme biasness, period. Because everyone from Teofimo Lopez to Devin Haney to Gervonta Davis, in my opinion, beats Ryan Garcia. Key Mitch, he said Canelo has real skills. Ryan's style is much more flawed. I can see Ryan Garcia getting clipped or easily outboxed by 4 guys in his division alone. The pound for pound will not be passed to Ryan Garcia. I agree. I truly agree with that. And that's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to keep it as equal as I possibly can, because how would you respect me to come on here and WCS is reporting? Listen now, WCS is supporting that Devin Haney knocks out everybody in the lightweight division that's considered to be top 3. How would you respect me to say that Devin Haney is the top lightweight in the division off his resume? How would you respect me for that? How would you respect me if Gervonta Davis has had one fight with the antiquated, past his competitive edge in Gamboa? How would you respect me and say, Gervonta Davis, he should be on the pound for pound list based off his resume alone? Just based off fighting to Leo Santa Cruz, he should be in the top pound for pound. How would you respect me? So I'm asking that question because how can you respect the narrative that is being pushed by some people that's saying Ryan Garcia should be top 3 lightweight, when you have individuals like Shakur Stevens is not even being talked about that will more than likely be on the pound for pound list before some of the individuals that's contending at the lightweight division right now? I can wish, right? I can wish all I want. But I truly wish that Shakur Stevenson, like, we didn't have this pandemic, first of all. I really wish he would have been able to, one, get that fight with Miguel Berchelt or Oscar Valdez when Berchelt fell out. I really wish that Oscar Valdez, who I like Oscar Valdez, man. I had a chance to talk to him in Texas, talk to him on a couple of occasions. I like Oscar Valdez. It would have been great to see him and Shakur Stevenson fight, and then Shakur potentially would have moved on to fight Berchelt. But if I was in Oscar Valdez's position, I would have turned down the fight with Shakur Stevenson. I would say, no, I'm going to go up here and fight Berchelt. I'm not going to, if he didn't have that confidence, then guess what? I understand. But I really wish Jamel Herring's title, he wouldn't be trying to fight Carl Frampton. Seriously, I really wish that belt would have been open. I'm not gonna lie to you. Would I like to see him and Jojo Diaz? Absolutely. I like Jojo, man. I like Jojo. That'll be a good fight between him and Shakur Stevenson. Jojo got that dog in him too. And the fact that, we sit up here and talk about how certain fighters take punishment. Once again, they would sit up here and talk about certain fighters and the way they look. Deontay Wilder bleeding from the ear. He got a fat lip. But you won't talk about Tyson Fury's cut from Otto Wallin. You won't talk about Jojo Diaz's cut when he was in there with Tevin Farmer. Jojo Diaz had a bad cut over his eye, and they let the fight continue. Y'all got to keep that same freaking spirit. Y'all got to keep that same energy, man, because y'all cannot continue to ignore the fact that Shakur Stevenson, if he was in a better position, he would absolutely fuck up Ryan Garcia. He's smart enough to box Ryan Garcia. I would never sit up here and tell you that, Shakur has this incredible amount of power. But what is incredible about him is how intelligently that he goes into the ring and authoritates his boxing skill set. That's what I commend him from. I'm not saying he's a scholar. I'm saying right now, he's on the honor roll. Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, is on the honor roll. Because it's a lot of what I see in this cat. I'm like, damn, he switches it up. He makes changes. It's it's just not the fact that he's just pressing forward. He just doesn't fight the same all the time. He doesn't. Milo, Ryan reminds me of Carlos Balderas, hype early on, then got clipped. Look, man, I say this to people all the time, and I just made mention of it before. Maybe about a week and a half ago, I was like, when it comes to the sport of boxing, what is the majority? The majority is Mexican and black fighters. That is the majority in the sport. All right. It's not like any other race, creed, or whatever ethnicity cannot box, but that is the majority, right? So therefore, when it comes to these comparisons, certain people have to stop comparing a Mexican fighter to a black fighter to somewhat prove any validation to the point they're trying to make. You have to stop that shit, because what you're trying to do is you saying, well, the only other fighter that I can find that's good is a black fighter. That shit has to stop. That absolutely had to stop, because I'm not understanding if, what's going to be the narrative, man. Like, Canelo only has a certain amount of years left. What is going to be the narrative? If someone says Canelo Alvarez is cherry picking, that shouldn't be an issue, because Floyd cherry picked a little bit too. It shouldn't be an issue. But why say some dumb shit like, if you saying Canelo cherry picking, then Charlo's cherry picking? I mean, that's the dumbest shit I heard on YouTube. Is Charlo in the same position as Canelo Alvarez? Is Charlo even on the pound for pound list at all to be compared to Canelo Alvarez? The only thing that they that they reside in equally at one point in time was the middleweight division. But besides that, Charlo hasn't really said anything about moving up to chase Canelo like Triple G until recently. He said, I'll go up to 68 and fight Canelo. You know what I'm saying? From my understanding, he turned down the fight with Canelo Alvarez. Truth of the matter is, or whatever, it could have been various reasons that the fight wasn't made between Charlo and Canelo. But this live ain't about Charlo and Canelo. It's just the fact that I want the listeners for WCS to understand that I'm not going to push the narrative. You can't come over here and find my lives and say I'm extremely biased towards one type of fighter. You're quick to get black people the unsubscribe to your channel if you criticizing a fighter like Devin Haney. But look, they'll see how non-biased I am. Because I was the same one that was supporting Teofimo Lopez against Vasyl Lomachenko. But guess what? I don't have to sit up here and support Teofimo Lopez to prove anything to those who are tuned in, just because he was fighting Lomachenko. If Devin Haney would have been fighting Teofimo Lopez, I would have picked the fighter that I believe was the better boxer. I would have still went for Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney. That's just me. I would have went for Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney without him stepping in the ring with Lomachenko. I've seen both of these fighters fight in person. I have. I seen Devin Haney fight when he came down to the ATL when he barely had any freaking fights on his record. But they didn't know that. I seen Teofimo Lopez fight several times in person. But it comes down to it. We have a push that's going on while the crown is still being held in the YouTube, the YTBC, is that there's certain individuals that's comparing Hispanic fighters to black fighters. What's going to happen when Canelo leaves the sport? It's still going to be black and Hispanic fighters in the sport of boxing. Now, the question is going to be, who is going to be the cash cow and who's going to be reigning the top, as a pound for pound best? That's going to be the biggest question, because Canelo is only going to be here for a certain amount of time. Before that, it was Floyd, right? So the pendulum is always swinging. So now it's going to get to a point in the next couple of years or so that we're going to start gradually seeing another changing of the guard. And I'm telling you, it may take about 3 years. If I'm still able to remember, I might say, hey, well, y'all remember when I spoke on Shakur Stevenson? Yeah, I told y'all that he was the emperor. Yeah, that was me. I was glad to see that again. Yeah. But hey, congratulations, Shakur Stevenson. I'm much older now, so you're a little bit blurry, but go in there and get that victory. that might be me, dog. You can't stop Father Time, dog. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, man, people going to look at this thumbnail and say, ugh, it's a lot of other boxers. Listen, Shakur Stevenson, whether you want to recognize it or not, the dude is emperor of boxing, man. He's going to conquer. He's going to conquer and do certain things that people didn't think he was able to do. Watch what I tell you. I don't have to wait till it happens. This is going to be a good year, in my opinion, for Shakur Stevenson. And also 2023. 2022. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a lot of changes. And I hope by the year 2022, Shakur Stevenson is already in the lightweight division. Because I don't want certain people to get comfortable. I don't want certain people to get comfortable at the 135-pound division when Shakur Stevenson get there. I don't want them to be comfortable. And you know what, black fighters, y'all got to fight black fighters, man. Because we always going to have the black Hispanic or the black Mexican fighters that's matching up. That's always going to be there. But Devin Haney, you got to fight a black fighter, dog. Even Shakur Stevenson, I said, you know what I'm saying? We have to do what Errol Spence was able to do with Sean Porter. Seriously. Whether he do it again, I have no idea. But he has those fighters on his resume. These lighter weight classes, they have to factor in that. Forget about all this friendship shit. I like what Shakur Stevenson said, that if he has to face Jamel Herring, guess what? It's business. It's motherfucking business. So let's go in here and get this money. Let's go get this, this win. To each his own. Let's go compete. And Shakur Stevenson's mindset is to go and split the ropes and get this victory. I like what he said, man. I like what I'm saying from Shakur Stevenson. He's a very intellectual boxer. We're talking about a fighter who did not complete high school. Boxing, a lot of people always say boxing is a dumb man's sport back in the day. But you have to have some intelligence to go in there in a full contact sport and make decisions and compete. You just can't go in there and let your left and right in cadence, left, right, left, and swing for the fences. You have to have a plan. You have to have a level of intelligence to outsmart and outthink your opponent. Don't say I didn't tell you. I'm just saying, don't say I didn't tell you ahead of time. They keep them in the shadows, but the light is already on, man. I'm telling you, bro. Just save this damn thumbnail somewhere in your motherfucking hard drive. Because don't forget that I told you about Shakur Stevenson, how special of a fighter he's going to be, especially him being able to start out a featherweight and get his first championship. Even though he fought for the vacant, he fought for the vacant. It wasn't email, none of that shit. He fought for the vacant. But when you have these fighters that are considered the best, I want to see them fight the best, whether they Mexican versus Mexican or black versus Mexican or whatever the case the other matchups will be. I want to see it because it's good for the sport of boxing. So that's, we'll see in the next couple of years on how this all plays out. But be very, very, attentive to when Shakur Stevenson pick up his first championships at 130. If he chooses to stay there and unify, or he say, I move up to 135. Well, I got this belt. I move up to 135, so I want this fight. Because people are going to start keeping an eye on Shakur Stevenson. But my only concern with him is if it may get to a point, if he does move into a hotbed at 135, will fighters start to avoid him that are considered the big names at 135 pounds? Will we ever see a Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis? Because to be honest, I don't see Gervonta Davis moving up to 40 anytime soon. I don't see Devin Haney still being in the lightweight division by the time Shakur Stevenson moves up, because they're talking about how much it's trouble for them to make weight. But they want to stay down there and fight another fight with whoever. You know what I'm saying? I have to touch on that too. And I am, I'm swerving a little bit, but when shit pop in my mind, like, okay, so Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney said they only have a couple more fights left at 135 pounds, right? So I'm curious to know if the unification is either still on the compass or not. Are they still fighting in that direction? Because if I pull up the receipts, you went from Gamboa, I'm talking about Team Haney, and then you what? You recently say you didn't want Vasyl Lomachenko, a fighter who you said for several times over, which was false, that he was ducking you. That's why he vacated the damn WBC. But now they was fighting, they was hunting and clout chasing Teofimo Lopez. But now all of a sudden, the redirect is they want Ryan Garcia. I mean, how can you go in the past freaking month or two from Gamboa to Teofimo Lopez to now Ryan Garcia? I mean, bro, who is driving the ship? Because it's hard for me to respect the catch-up game. Like, if you are telling people you're the true champion, you defend yourself. So what's going to happen when you get somebody like Shakur Stevenson move up 35-pound division and Devin Haney's still there, chilling? TO's dropped the belts and moved up. And let's say, for instance, y'all allow Shakur Stevenson to move up 35 and pick up a strap. If Team Haney decides to stay there just a little bit longer and for another strap, now the narrative is going to be, why don't you fight Shakur Stevenson? Now, Shakur Stevenson isn't going to be in a position, in my opinion, as Devin Haney is right now in playing catch up. Seriously, even though Devin Haney is in the lightweight division already, if by chance, just say for instance, Shakur Stevenson comes there and pick up the IBF or the WBA belt, and Teofimo's moved up to 140 already, my assumption is that Shakur will call out whoever is the bigger name in that division that has a belt, whether it's Devin Haney, whether it's Ryan Garcia, whether it's Gervonta Davis. I'm saying he's going to call out anybody with a big name. So if Bill Haney them is still campaigning there because they're not sure they want to make that move up to 140 yet, then when you say that you'll fight anybody, You're going to have to be willing to take the energy and the heat that you're going to receive for Shakur Stevenson once he get up there and say, hey, Haney, let's go. We don't want to hear get a scrap. We don't want to hear that Errol Spence bullshit. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear what have you done, who have you fought at lightweight. If black fighters do that shit to one another and reciprocate what Errol Spence is doing to Terrence Bud Crawford, it's only going to diminish us to the boxing public. I'm serious. It's going to diminish us to the boxing public. Because if you all are the best and who you calling out is the best, and you want to say, well, I want to make this shit about money. You cannot reciprocate that like that. Oh, you need to get a belt. Why? Fighters who are big names are moving up divisions all the time, especially if you was a champion. So these individuals are moving up and advancing to the next division higher, and their ranking is placing them in the top 5 sometime. I'm not lying. Like, according to what you hold in your status in the lower division that you're currently active in, and then you choose to move up, according to how many straps you got or you champion, it elevates you to a higher ranking once you move up to that division. And that leads me to this point right here with Shakur Stevenson. What if he goes over there and pick up the strap, the WBC strap at 130? What if he pick up that WBO strap from Jamel Herring if that fight plays out? Or Jamel Herring vacates, or Carl Frampton defeats Jamel Herring and he vacates. Whatever. Or Shakur Stevenson fights Carl Frampton. Just say, for instance, Shakur Stevenson has the WBO and the WBC. And, you know, we still have Devin Haney that's holding on to the WBC. It's a lot of scenarios that can play out if Shakur Stevenson decides to move up to 35, and according to how many belts he has at 130. He can move up and make some heat. But look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna assume what Team Haney will say. Well, you just moved up here. You ain't did nothing. But I'm gonna look at that shit. I'm gonna be behind the mic. I'll say, sure he did. He has more world titles than Devin Haney. Sure. And I'm gonna say for Ryan Garcia, if he ain't already a world champion, I'm gonna say the same shit about him. We need to get out the mentality of overlooking these fighters because they are a tough challenge, and you're basically still trying to build your career. So you're trying to build your career in the eye of the beholder, as if you're really at the higher food chain, but yet you still eating hors d'oeuvres. You know what I'm saying? You're not really allowing yourself to have the main entree. You just sitting up here chilling and teasing motherfuckers. Give me some crackers and cheese, please, and some red wine. No, we want you to fight the motherfuckers who are the top contenders. Even if Shakur moves up to the lightweight division, whoever those champions may be, you cannot say you just moved up here and what have you done? Get a belt first. Because once you get a belt, we already know that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean when Keith Thurman said it. It doesn't mean when Errol Spence said it. None of that shit. Because they didn't live up to the freaking hype. Keith Thurman never fought Errol Spence, and Errol Spence ain't fought Terrence Crawford. But what's fucked up when you have people that's believing what they have to do is portray themselves as making all this money to the boxing public, jump on IG and portray the lifestyle instead of fighting the opponent that holds the same brightness as that diamond in the damn case. You know what I'm saying? That diamond should be shining in the case the same way. You want to more so put all this shit out on social media, but yet you're not shining in a boxing ring the way it should be. You're going to have to start, these fighters going to have to start stepping up and shining like a diamond by accepting the tougher fights and not being scared to lose their O. Just like Keith Thurman said. He said, I'm not scared to let my old go. Okay. He lost to Manny Pacquiao. And we're still wondering what Keith Thurman's, up to next. We don't know. But I can tell you somebody, in my opinion, who would never put themselves in a position as Ryan Garcia. I don't see Shakur Stevenson being that complacent. I just don't see it. I don't see Gervonta Davis putting himself in a position to get dropped by somebody like Luke Campbell. Lomachenko even. Teofimo Lopez, I don't see it. I don't even see Devin Haney putting himself in a position to get touched up like Ryan Garcia and then get off the canvas and do a post fight and say, man, I said to myself, wow, he dropped me. Oh, God, yeah. I feel good. I got up. I was a little dizzy and everything, but God damn it, I didn't do the stanky leg, really. I just went down and, I saw what the canvas looked like in a real fight. You know what I'm saying? I sunbathed just a little bit under the lights, but I got right back up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ryan Garcia can get away with that shit. Seriously, Ryan Garcia can get away with saying some shit like that post-fight. He can make it seem all jovial and jolly and act like it was very minimal, but no, it was massive. Because now you got motherfuckers salivating, licking their chops and like, yeah, okay, I see you, okay. They looking at Ryan Garcia as he's a freaking delicacy. He's food. They're looking at this dude like he's food right now. I say Ryan Garcia takes his first loss or two. He's going to Hollywood to do some movies. I've said that before. I don't see Ryan Garcia standing boxing for a long period of time. I don't see it. I don't see Ryan Garcia boxing until he's 30 years old. I don't see it. Nope. I don't see it. It's all about who's going to be the individual that sends him off. Because Ryan Garcia is 21-0. Let me see. Should I make a predict? I don't like making a prediction at someone's expense when it places them in a predicament to lose. I don't like that myself because it really, I can say I'm reporting on it, but yet it's reporting on it adversely, based off him and what I've seen in here against Luke Campbell. You know what I'm saying? I say his next 3 fights is going to be serious. Ryan Garcia's next 3 fights is going to be something serious, man. It's going to be something serious. And I can guarantee you, Team Garcia is going to be very selective on who they fight next. You can sit up here and play around all you fucking want with them goddamn Tonka trucks. They're Ryan Garcia. You can think you about to ride over there in Baltimore and goddamn run up on a tank, dog. You go right ahead, that Ryan Garcia. If you think you heavy duty and you want to ride up on a tank and you feel that you're ready for that shit, then be willing and able. Once you get into a fight with a damn savage like Gervonta, you're going to find out that flat-footed countering shit, he's going to have the same medicine for you, but worse. Tank Davis is going to have it much worse for Ryan Garcia when it comes to countering. We saw it with Leo Santa Cruz. We saw it with Gamboa. Gervonta Davis is very talented, but people will never let him live certain shit down as far as him getting in trouble, outside the ring and all that. But I'm telling you, I've seen him fight several times. And I'm going to tell you, Gervonta Davis is a savage, man. And to see the smile on Ryan Garcia's face when they're calling out Gervonta Davis as if this guy is an easy fucking touch. You will have, look, I can agree. Ryan Garcia may have some success, okay, in the early rounds, the early first 2 rounds. He taller, he got the range. He's gonna stay. Look, Gervonta's gonna play around his food. He's gonna set traps just like he did for Leo Santa Cruz. He's gonna allow Ryan Garcia to get off. He may even put himself up against the ropes and, put his hands up, do the winky right on Lamont Peterson, put his high guard up and allow him to get off, send, 3 or 4 punch combination. And people jump up and down. Yeah, go Ryan. You can do it. And then in the 3rd and 4th round, you see Gervonta start to open up a little bit more and wait for Ryan Garcia to come back in and land that lead left hook, slip it. And before you know it, you're looking like Leo Santa Cruz. I know some people may be upset to my, man, come on, WCS, why are you tripping, man? That wasn't even funny. Well, I didn't say it was funny. I'm just always listening to what people were saying about Gervonta Davis when he was stepping in there with Leo Santa Cruz. They really thought the volume of punches that Leo Santa Cruz was used to, that he was going to be able to outbox Gervonta Davis. And he ended up getting put to sleep. Now, what does Ryan Garcia has to offer that Leo Santa Cruz did not? Leo Santa Cruz, in my opinion, and then you even got people out here saying, this Ryan Garcia is a better boxer than Leo Santa Cruz. First of all, what grade are you giving Ryan Garcia for boxing? What grade? Stop with all the flash videos. What grade are you? What grade are you implementing for Ryan Garcia's boxing? His chin is in the tree line. We might well call it spring on a breezy day, because attach look, all you got to do is get some kite string. His chin is in the tree line. He's flat-footed. And last time I checked, he was fighting in southpaw and he was having some lead foot issues. So what are we saying about the individuals who's up here hyping up Ryan Garcia, say, oh, he's better than Leo Santa Cruz, so therefore, since we saying he's better than Leo Santa Cruz, he's gonna go in here and fuck Gervonta Davis up? Well, I'm here to tell you, somebody who's ringside at the fight, looking at the expressions, looking at the punches landed, looking at the traps that was being set, the momentum shifts, just having a bird's eye view with that shit. I don't think Ryan Garcia, I know for a fact Ryan Garcia does not have those type of decision-making skills right now to be in there with a fighter like Gervonta Davis. Because Gervonta is the type of person that allow him to get off. He will allow him to get off. And he will make it seem like with the cheer of the crowd that Ryan Garcia is fucking up Gervonta Davis. Gervonta, he will allow that shit to happen for a couple of rounds, just like he did Leo Santa Cruz. I'm not saying all the punches he was just sitting up there playing with his food. I won't say that. I'm just saying it is situations where Gervonta Davis allowed himself to be vulnerable. He was playing, he was acting as if he was the wounded. And Ryan Garcia will have to deal with the return fire. That is the question. Have we seen Ryan Garcia box on the inside yet? Have we seen Ryan Garcia box off the back foot? What what in the hell is going on? Why am I not hearing these individuals encapsulate all the flaws of Ryan Garcia the right way instead of boosting this man up for getting off the canvas? It's total bullshit, man. Toilet water. That shit is toilet water, dog. Toilet water and donkey piss. For real. King Mitch said these young fighters want the money, as they should, but they always ignore the fact that Floyd was in his mid-30s when he got his biggest paydays. Come Local Sports in the building. Salute to you. He said Tank definitely sleeps Ryan. Ryan ain't even a better boxer than Tank. I agree, but I just don't understand what I'm hearing from certain individuals that I tune into periodically. They really boosting up Ryan Garcia. And look, I will boost up Ryan Garcia if he showed me that side of the card. But Ryan Garcia has not shown me that. Like Teofimo Lopez heading into the Vasyl Lomachenko fight, I just felt that his youth and his boxing skills alone will match up very nicely with Lomachenko. Speed for speed, I felt that Teofimo, could match up very good. He could be equally competitive. I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to be able to maneuver like he did with Rigondeaux. We're talking about two-time Olympians. I just felt that they matched up real nice. And it showed. Mitch say Tank is a smaller guy. He provides the biggest payday currently. Maybe Ryan think Tank is sweet at 135. Personally, I think Tank stops him. I agree with Tank. When it comes to a knockout artist, right? In the 90 percentile of Gervonta Davis. 90 percentile, right? Gervonta Davis went the distance with a dude early in his career. I think his name was it Pius? I forgot, but he had over 40 something fights. And I'm assuming, I'm not sure if I'm correct. Gervonta, I don't know for sure if he had over 10 fights yet. But he fought a journeyman, obviously. Either he has over 40 fights right now, or back then he had over 30 fights, or something like that. But either way, my point is, that's the only fight he went the distance with. I think it was a Mexican fighter, and he went the distance with him. You're not going to knock out everybody, but he's in the 90%, over the 90 percentile of knockout. So we're thinking that Ryan Garcia, who was just dropped by Luke Campbell, is going to go in there and rout. He's going to rout Gervonta Davis for 12 championship rounds. No, we might indeed see Amir Khan. We might indeed see James Kirkland, Canelo Alvarez. Come on, stop playing. We might see James Kirkland once more. But that knockout, Jesus Christ. Whether it was Amir Khan or James Kirkland, brutish. Whether it was Danny Garcia, we might have Ryan Garcia, who is Amir Khan-esque. I'm not putting a 2.0 to it because he's just been dropped. And look, he was dropped and he was on that right arm. That face almost hit the ground, I believe. Ryan Garcia may not have a chin, y'all. I'm just saying, just because he was able to get up and stop Luke Campbell with a body shot, I'm just saying, man, I'm just saying, dog. Has Gervonta Davis been down? You know what I'm saying? Has Haney been down? Has Teofimo Lopez been down? Yes, Lomachenko has been down. He has. But has he been down again? Linares sat him down. Freaking Lomachenko sat down in the seat. Okay, cool. He got back up, walked over to the corner, boom, dusted himself off, went back to work. But the way Ryan Garcia was hit, Anybody else with the punching power of Gervonta, the punching power of Teofimo Lopez, it would be a problem for Ryan Garcia. Seriously, it would be an absolute problem for Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis punching power against Ryan Garcia, I feel it is absolutely trouble. And his team should think very hard. If you want to send him up to Linares, okay, cool. Send him up to Linares, knock on that door, and let's see them fight. But you just saying, okay, I want my, it's time for Ryan Garcia to go get my Floyd Mayweather. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go over here and get outclassed by Gervonta Davis, because believe it or not, Gervonta is a different fighter than Floyd Mayweather. Gervonta Davis heading into a fight with Ryan Garcia would be quite different than Canelo Alvarez stepping in there with Floyd Mayweather. Two different fighters. It's two different fighters, period. Floyd, the way he thinks in the ring is much different than Gervonta Davis. Though Floyd may be teaching and educating and, allowing Gervonta Davis to work on his tools and giving him the tricks of the trade. You know what I'm saying? And remediating. And trying to allow Gervonta Davis to understand, I can build you up into a cash cow. Just let me do my magic. Then, we can see, but they're not two of the same. But what is, from what I've seen in his fight with Leo Santa Cruz, is exactly what I've seen in Ricardo Nunez fight, exactly what I've seen in the Yurkis Gamboa fight, is that Gervonta Davis is indeed able to make changes in a fight. He can hunt you down. And when he's taking time off, he can set traps. When he's taking a rest, Gervonta Davis can set traps when he's rested. He may stop the forward progress, or he may stop the pursuit just a little bit, slow down the hunt just a little bit, and allow his opponent to say, okay, he's tired. And he allow his opponent to get off. But in that time, you may get caught with an uppercut, or you may get caught with a hook. Gervonta is very smart like that. And I don't want Ryan Garcia to go in there and get his Floyd Mayweather right now, because Canelo Alvarez made it to the final bell. I don't see Ryan Garcia making it to the final bell with Gervonta. I definitely don't see him making it to the final bell with Teofimo Lopez. Unless Teo is nice. He gets in there and look, if Teofimo Lopez drops Ryan Garcia early like Luke Campbell, you can best believe Teo is going to keep up the hunt the right way, and he's going to try to destroy and annihilate Ryan Garcia and get him up out of there. He's not going to do Luke Campbell did. Oh, God, thank you. I validated that I can knock him down. Did you see the look on Luke Campbell's face? He was like, God, I'm so happy. I dropped him. That's what I said. I dropped him. But he did nothing else after that to further degrade Ryan Garcia's ability to be competitive in the fight. He didn't do anything. People really sleep on Tank's boxing and his ring IQ. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying too, man. Tank has tremendous ring IQ. You think Rolly will ever get Tank fight? Look, Rolly and Tank are in the same domicile, man. The boxing stronghold. Why would they fight each other? Seriously. Just because they're in the same sanctioning body, why would Floyd Mayweather want Tank to fight Rolly and they're in the same stronghold? I just don't see how that makes sense. I just know Floyd Mayweather, his pockets are long, and he took the opportune time for a fight in Connecticut to get Rolly a belt. And it worked out. It was a robbery. Jackson Mariñez obviously won that fight. But anyway, to answer your question, no. I don't think at 35, Floyd's going to put Rolly in there with Gervonta. They happen to know each other very well. I mean, if they're going by doghouse rules all the time, you have to understand that Rolly's probably been in there with Gervonta plenty of times. So what would it benefit Rolly going in there getting punished like that? You know, Rolly comes off to me as an old school type of bruiser type fighter. He gives me that feeling. You know, you see it when he's in the ring. He's almost like that old school terminology jock. You know, the only thing they know how to do is play the sport. They could be much better in the sport, but the only thing they enjoy doing is attempting to hurt people when they can actually finesse them. I'm not mad at Ryan wanting Tank though. I rather them fight each other. Rather them fight each other instead of getting these sorry fights. I hope that's different in 21, man. It's a new year. I hope it's different. Mark Teo was down in his pro debut. Listen, Teo may have been down in his pro debut. There's a lot of things that happened early on. Manny Pacquiao was knocked out early in his career. But guess what? Only when it counts is when he faced the higher competition. I appreciate the info, but I'm just saying it really matters when they start to fight the competition. There's a lot of fighters that face defeats early in their career, but not too many people talk about it because if the name wasn't noticeable, they don't really sit up here and highlight it like that. But I appreciate that nugget though. Real talk, Mark. I appreciate the nugget. Gyms are good. Line Killer, what's good? What's good with you? Salute, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Mitch say, respect to Ryan's poker face after the knockdown. Luke didn't pounce like he should have. The kid was hurt. What worries me is how Ryan came forward. He did it because that's all he could do. And you know who else fights sort of like that when he gets hit? Rolly Romero. Even though I don't like comparing them together because they're on two different levels a little bit when it comes to boxing. But what I can say is when Rolly Romero get touched, he comes forward with the same, aggression. He really don't switch up the entry, with some jabs, staying active on the sticker, something like that, just to let that jab stay what is down to the breadbasket or up top. He just comes in through the front door, boom, kick it open with a right hand, with a power shot, whatever. They don't set shit up, man. Ryan Garcia was popping the jab out there, and then the way he said that Luke Campbell thought he was going up top with the lead. But you have to understand, most of the time when Ryan Garcia was sending that left hook, it was a counter left hook. That's why Luke Campbell, was able to get his timing right. And he slipped it pretty damn good several times, right? But when Ryan Garcia threw that hook, that left hook that dropped Luke Campbell, he was coming forward. He was coming forward. So, of course, he might have had a dilemma to say, oh, is he going to throw the left hook up top or whatever? But make no mistake about it. Ryan Garcia was throwing that counter left hook when usually, he was when Luke Campbell was, coming towards him or he was within range and he tried to fire off that left hook all the time. You know what I'm saying? He tried to catch Luke Campbell sleeping several times until Luke Campbell, got his timing down. And there's certain times that Ryan Garcia actually stumbled when he missed that left hook. That's how tough he was sitting down on his punches. But when he stepped into Luke Campbell and said that he was going up top, but he hit him down low and he tried to praise that shit. I mean, come on, bro. That's just like anybody stepping in for a body shot. You know what I'm saying? You stepped in, you delivered the body shot. That wasn't the first body shot you landed. Lomachenko, look, people. Lomachenko hurt Luke Campbell. Lomachenko hurt Luke Campbell with a body shot, y'all. Like somebody said, them UK fighters, they must not be doing setups. They must not be working the core. Because Lomachenko hurt Luke Campbell. I'm not saying Lomachenko don't have power, but he hurt Luke Campbell with damn near the left hook, the left to the body. Ryan Garcia hurt Luke Campbell with the left to the body. And he's going to tell Garcia, oh, that's the hardest I've been hit. I mean, okay, cool, dog. I mean, if it's the hardest you've been hit, cool. You know what I'm saying? You have the older Lomachenko. He might have had a little bit of mustard on there, but if motherfucking Ryan Garcia might have had mustard, motherfucking relish, you know what I'm saying? Chili peppers on that shit. He might have had a little bit more sting to it. But shit, it's not like Luke Campbell hasn't been down from a body shot, man. It was like it was a flash knockdown either. Hey, Mitch, I'm glad you mentioned that. He said it wasn't like it was a flash knockdown either. Ryan Garcia was hurt. Luke let him slide, at least test him. You know what I was hearing? I was hearing people saying it was a flash knockdown. It was people out here saying it was a flash knockdown. When you sit up here and try to dilute the severity of Ryan Garcia being knocked down with absolute biases, that's what I'm talking about. It was people out here saying, oh, it was a flash knockdown. He was never hurt. He got right back up and he's pressed the pace. Haven't you heard that before? They said the same thing about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. He was pressing the pace. Look, sometime with adrenaline, even if you're fuzzy, you might be fuzzy up top. When you get up and you're a boxer, even in look, fight or flight, you can still be buzzed and get up and still move forward towards your target and fight off instinct. You can still, it can still be some screws and marbles just floating around in there and shit. And you're not even 100%, but you still fight on. I think when Ryan Garcia was dropped and he got up, he still wasn't, 100%, but he still fought on. Why? Because he had Canelo Alvarez that was ringside. He had his brother ringside. He had his trainers ringside. He had Oscar De La Hoya ringside. He had all those individuals that was tuned in watching him fight. He had Devin Haney, Bill Haney ringside. It was so many people that was probably floating through his thought process saying, oh shit, damn, this motherfucker dropped me. God damn it. I got to get up and do something about it. And he was able to press the issue. But with Gervonta Davis, if you get up and you go over there and press him, I mean, you're talking about a wild dog that's still there. Time you get up and referee resume action, Gervonta's going to be on your ass just like you still on the motherfucking canvas. They won't always talk about his freaking cardio, but Gervonta Davis has killer instinct. He has a killer instinct. Teofimo Lopez, he has killer instinct, man. You think Richard Comey was something? You think Richard Comey was something? That would have been Teofimo Lopez that hurt Ryan Garcia. I don't even think he would have made it out of the fucking round. I'm being honest. I don't think he would have made it out of the round. I think Teofimo Lopez has better cardio than Gervonta Davis. I don't even think once the ref called the fight back, and first of all, I truly believe that Teofimo and Gervonta Davis, like I said, hits harder than Luke Campbell. So I'm not even sure that if Ryan Garcia would have been hit by either one of those two fighters, he would have got back up like that. Now, if that would have been Devin Haney that dropped Ryan Garcia, I would have said, shit, man, motherfucking Ryan Garcia don't have a chin because Devin Haney, he got that cotton ball power. Shit. Man, he got that Charmin power. I would have said, man, goddamn Ryan Garcia don't have no motherfucking chin, dog. Fuck that. You let Devin Haney drop you. You know what I'm saying? I would have said that shit. But being he got dropped by a guy, Luke Campbell, it's hard for me to sit up here and take that shit serious. Since Lomachenko was sat down by Linares, but he wasn't sat down by Luke Campbell. But Luke Campbell sat down Ryan Garcia. I can't be too serious about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I can't because you never had Lomachenko on the canvas. But yet Lomachenko, top 2 pound for pound, is supposed to be extremely better than Ryan Garcia. He's supposed to be extremely better than Luke Campbell because he beat Luke Campbell. Seriously. Lomachenko is nowhere even comparable to Ryan Garcia, y'all. He's a pound for pound fighter. Luke Campbell, he did hurt Lomachenko a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? But never down on the canvas. Luke made, let me see. Mitch said, let me start putting these comments up here. And I apologize for those who I wasn't able to put those comments up there, man. But good comment there, Mitch, about that flash knockdown. You know, people up here tripping, man. They trying to sit up here and tell me it's a flash knockdown. Y'all need to stop that nonsense, man. Stop trying to boost up Ron. I cannot respect that, y'all. Stop trying to 1 minute make it a Mexican and black thing, and then, you know, sit up here and say that Ryan Garcia is better than Gervonta and Devin Haney because it sounds good. No. Call it for what it is, like I do. Call it for what it is. Ryan Garcia needs work. Stop sitting up here trying to throw him in there with Gervonta Davis, who would absolutely allow that man IG followers to drop from 7.8 million probably down to 4.5, especially if he's laying on the canvas like Amir Khan. He said, I hate when Rolly is mentioned with the top guys, but him and Ryan style make an entertaining fight. It does. Seriously, it does. But, you know, within my integrity, I can't even sit up here and talk about Rolly as having boxing skills. He fights just like he's in Doghouse Rules. Rolly Romero fights like that. And what I don't want to say too much is the fact that he might be a glorified sparring partner over there at TMT. Seriously. I'm serious, man. And that's in all kindness. Rolly Romero might be a glorified sparring partner in TMT. I mean, what else is he going to do? Is he going to move up to 140 and make it up through the ranks like that? Rolly Romero's career may just be at 35. And then he may move up to 40 and have some fights. And somehow, some way, pick up another secondary title up at 40. But man, I can't sit up here and talk about that shit. That's way off. Luke made the mistake of thinking the left was going upstairs. Look, Luke, if he became complacent from that left hook, that is his own fault. But like I said before, Lomachenko dropped him with a left to the body. I mean, he hurt him. He hurt him with a left to the body. So it's not like he haven't been in there with boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like he haven't been in there with southpaws. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he should be smarter than that. He's a gold medal Olympian. Luke Campbell's a gold medal Olympian. And I still say the silver medalist and Shakur Stevenson fucks him up. Kostya Tszyu versus Zab Judah looked like a flash knockdown until Zab ankles got weak and his equilibrium was shot. Man, I think his knees was weak, man. Ankles, knees. Zab was what you call in a what's that tank they call that tank? Damn, I forgot. Shoot. But yeah, it's like he had the bends, man. He came up to the surface. You know, he was swimming up to the surface too fast, man. Like he got up and nothing was mechanically functioning right. So he was all over the place. But shout out to Kostya Tszyu. He landed a nice shot, man. Zab was hurt bad. And I really truly don't know to this day, not to swing off topic, as to why Zab was so upset of Jay Nady stopping the fight. I mean, it turned into a debacle all from delirium. You know what I'm saying? Why? J8 in the building. What's good, man? Luke should have went for broke after the second round knockdown. Yeah, for sure. Loma hit the canvas versus GRJ. I totally agree with that, man. But you know, when the referee don't call it, it turns into a Zab Judah Floyd Mayweather. You know, Zab Judah also knocked down Floyd Mayweather, and the ref didn't call it. The same thing with Lomachenko and Gary Russell Jr. The ref didn't call it. The ref didn't call two important knockdowns that probably would have changed the history. You know what I'm saying? It would have, because Gary Russell lost that fight via split decision. Zab Judah, he potentially could have been the only one to drop Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? It's been people that came close, i.e. the worst one, you know, Sugar Shane. And then I have to give Marcus Madonna his props. He did catch, Floyd slipping. Yeah, man. What's going on, Major Key Boxing in the building? Salute to you, bro. He should have went for broke, though. I agree with that, Jay. But he might have not had the cojones or the fortitude, man, the confidence in himself to leave it out there. I don't know what the fuck. Like I always say, Luke Campbell seems like he's good enough to come in second. He's content. And it definitely doesn't look good for the UK fighters, man. He's a gold standard Olympian, but yet you trying to tell me he doesn't have freaking killer instinct? To be honest, I thought he fought a better fight versus Lomachenko than he did Ryan Garcia. Milo, heard Frampton, Pitbull Cruz, or Rivera might be next for Tank. Well, I'm not sure how Carl Frampton is going to, abandon the opportunity to face Jamel Herring at 130 to be next for Tank. In my opinion, it would be good for Frampton. I think he beats Jamel Herring. That's just me, especially after the way Jamel Herring looked his last fight. I think Frampton beats Jamel Herring, and if he wants to fight Gervonta Davis at 130, you know what I'm saying, for that WBA title, cool. Well, once again, my man Shakur Stevenson is he's there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, it's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get interesting, man. Seriously, it's gonna get very interesting, bro. Garcia needs a lot of work. He got some Amir Khan in him. Hey, I don't like, saying he's Amir Khan 2.0 off him being dropped. But it is a sign. It is a sign, y'all. The reason why I say it's a sign, because I don't gauge, or I have not gauged Luke Campbell as being this fighter who you should be very cautious about when it comes to power. I never gave him that credit at all. But when he dropped Ryan Garcia right away, I didn't really say Luke Campbell, has this power. No, I say Ryan Garcia has a suspect chin. Automatically, I say, okay, his freaking his flaws, his boxing flaws, or basically allowing people to see what they can exploit if they was to step in the ring with Ryan Garcia. All the videos, the flash videos, all the drills and everything. That's exactly how he throws his combinations. And Ryan Garcia has this tendency, man, to close his motherfucking eyes. I know that shit look good on TV for the ladies. But what happened when you catch that damn counter uppercut or that hook from Gervonta? Your eyes going to be closed for real. You're going to be on the highlight reel for the wrong reason. WCS, you think Luke Campbell quit, or was a body shot enough to stop him? He seemed fine after the fight. I don't want to be overly poignant driving that motherfucking stake to Luke Campbell's heart. Because in my opinion, it seems like it already has some pinholes in it. Anyway, it's hard for me to say if he quit or not. Whether he was fine after the fight, recovery is recovery. It's hard for me to say he quit. I just can't sit up here and say Luke Campbell quit. If anything, I could say he was after the knockdown, he was satisfied. He was satisfied. Like Gamboa. Gamboa, in a sense, in my opinion, he seemed like he was trying to survive when he was in there. Like, it was certain cases where it felt like Gamboa could have did more against Haney, but he didn't. I don't know if he couldn't, but he didn't. Zab just got up too fast. I mean, it's possible, but he was hurt bad. Costa Tszyu hurt him bad. Man, Madonna had an overhand left at the end of one of those rounds, rock Floyd. It did, man. Floyd being the genius he is, he always find a way to maintain his upright stability, don't he? I mean, God damn it, when Sugar Shane rocked him, oh my God. I'm telling you, man, Floyd is one of a kind, man, when it comes to conditioning and the situation he's been in. He's been able to withstand it for real. Pitbull Cruz, that's a real war. See, some of those fights like that, we need to see how close they get. You know what I'm saying? Shakur versus Warrington. Wasn't he calling out Warrington forever and a day? Are we truly thinking that fight's going to happen now? Seriously, is that fight going to happen now? Do we believe that fight's going to happen now? Would people want to even see that fight, man? I mean, because Warrington and Stevenson, man, he was up there calling him out when he was down there, and we didn't hear shit from him. We didn't hear nothing. Nothing. We didn't hear shit. But I'm really curious to see what's next. And what's next to me is who are some of these big names that's gonna take place when Shakur Stevenson is on their doorstep. And right now in the WBO, Shakur Stevenson is on the doorstep of Jamel Herring. You know what I'm saying? Even Shakur Stevenson is ranked number 1 in the WBO, but yet, the word is Carl Frampton. Jamel Herring won the fight with Carl Frampton for some amazing reason. So that's what we're looking at. And then also Shakur Stevenson is ranked in the WBC. I'm telling you, the telltale signs, man. The telltale signs. Shakur Stevenson pick up that WBC belt somehow, whoever wins between Berchelt and Valdez. And he moves up. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting, because I truly don't believe by the time Stevenson gets to the lightweight division that Teofimo Lopez will still be there. I don't believe it. I don't. I think he'd be gone already. So that's the big question mark right there. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson moves up. There's a lot of big names in the top 5 in the WBC. It's a pretty good names in the WBO top 5. But not as healthy and dangerous as the top 5 of the WBC. You know what I'm saying? When he gets over there, man, I would definitely like to see him stepping there with some of the big names. We know Vasyl Lomachenko is still going to be there. Shakur Stevenson say, okay, if Vasyl Lomachenko want to fight at 130, fuck a title shot. I'll fight Lomachenko. I'll put him on my resume. That'll be a good fight people tune into. Seriously. People tune in to see Shakur Stevenson and Vasyl Lomachenko. Absolutely. I hope Shakur Stevenson doesn't move up and fight Luke Campbell, because what Luke Campbell is becoming is somewhat of a gatekeeper or somewhat of a journeyman. These might be the first phases of his journeymanship. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. But you still have a Richard Comey in there. I really don't want to see him fight Azario Abdulayev. And I really don't want to hear when Shakur Stevenson get to the doorstep of some of these big names. I don't want to hear Devin Haney say, why don't you go down here and fight so-and-so? Fight Zaur Abdulayev like I did. Or fight somebody that's on the bottom chain of command before you can come in here and fight me. Don't tell him, look, it's going to be very hard for Devin Haney to use that language because a lot of individuals that he have on his record, no one wants to fight. They're not even in the top 15 rankings. That's real talk. So he definitely can't use that language. Ryan Garcia can't use that language in the WBC. They really can't, because the only person that's really fought somebody as of recent that's up there is Luke Campbell. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about Vasyl Lomachenko. We're talking about Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. We already know Teofimo's unified champion. He doesn't count. But I'm talking about the ones that's going to be available, top names potentially when Teofimo Lopez go to 140. Devin Haney, if he's still the champion by then Vasyl Lomachenko may be at 130. Because I don't see Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Of course, when Bill Haney say, guess what? We wasn't looking for Lomachenko. I don't see them fighting anytime soon. Devin Haney might fight Javier Fortuna, or Shakur Stevenson might move up and face a Javier Fortuna in the future if he's still there. But I definitely don't want him, Shakur Stevenson, stepping in there and fighting a Luke Campbell or even a Jorge Linares. It's going to be absolutely interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing Shakur Stevenson fight Rolando Romero. Rolly, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind seeing that because he has a belt right now. I wouldn't mind seeing it. And I'm not sure what Robert Easter. I know Robert Easter set to step back in there, but Robert Easter can box. So I'm curious to know. Jackson Marinez can box too. I'm curious to know, how all this shit's going to play out, man. Stevenson will get a title shot in 21. I truly believe that, man. Which means Stevenson will be champion 21. It's all about if he's going to get at the bottom of the year or he's going to get in the middle of the year, enough to the point where he either call out another champion or he defends it. It all depends. Either way, if he defends it, I want it to be a solid name. You know what I'm saying? Shakur has this mentality, in my opinion, that he want to fight the best. He want to be considered the best, and he want to be on the pound for pound list. I don't think Shakur Stevenson want to wait till he's 30 years old to be on the pound for pound list, to be honest. I don't think he want to wait till he's 30 years old to do that. Mitch said being in the top rank might make it easier for Shakur to unify 130. Who knows what happened to 3 belts when Lopez dip out? Oh, he's going to vacate, man, and people are going to be running. And I hope they fight for the vacants. I hope they fight for the vacants instead of just this elevation stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hope they fight for the vacant, to be honest. It's going to be a lot of individuals that's waiting for Teofimo to leave the lightweight division so they can become world champions. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But it's very interesting. I say at the back end of this first quarter of the year to see what's going to happen with Teofimo Lopez. I see him being victorious against Kambosos, which is not an easy fight. But I'm curious to know who he's going to fight after that, because Team Haney was calling out Teofimo Lopez, and now they switched it up. They want to call out Ryan Garcia. Like when you put shit out on Boxing Scene, people like myself is reading that shit. And all these other sites that I freaking read. So you know when you go from boxer to boxer to boxer, Guess what? I want you to have that same energy if you're still at the lightweight division when Shakur Stevenson moves up, because he's ranked in the WBC at 130. So he move up to the lightweight division. Have the same energy, Team Haney, because a lot of people want to see Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. A lot of people want to see this fight. I don't want to hear no, man, we supposed to be brothers, man. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Get a strap. Don't want to hear it. You on the other side of the street. No. 80-20. No. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Man, we've been here for the longest of time, man. You know, my good brother, you have to work your way up to the top, my good brother. Well, hey, Shakur is going to be like, I did work my way up to the top. I'm a 2-division champion already. What about you? They're going to try to give him that Crawford treatment. What have you done at 135? Who have you fought? Build up your shit first, because we're the cream of the crop. We're the top dogs. Team Haney will talk like that, for real. And I'm gonna be extremely critical until he steps in there with top level competition. And Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, is not top level competition. So I don't care if Devin Haney faced Ryan Garcia. I don't care, because y'all bosom buddies. I don't care. He's not top level competition. Seriously, he is not. I would like to see Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney fight. I would like to see that fight if Teofimo Lopez grants him that before moving up to 140. But when you have, certain ways about tactics that you're using outside, certain families take a personal disdain for that. So they might be spiteful and say, fuck that. We ain't giving Devin Haney a big fight. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Every time Teofimo Lopez talks about Devin Haney, it's not good. Especially after, his dad was called and all the other shit, calling his dad a bitch and all this other. Man, it just gets crazy, man. Well, I'm not saying Teofimo hasn't called anybody a bitch. You know what I'm saying? He's called freaking Vasyl Lomachenko a bitch several times before he got the fight. But he got the fight. Y'all, he got the fight. He called that man out on live television and said he's a bitch. He's a prima donna. And a lot of that is coming out. The man want to talk about he has a shoulder injury. He didn't want to put a rematch clause in the fight. The judges was paid off. I have to agree that some of what Teofimo Lopez was saying makes sense right now. There are a lot of people not talking about it, but man, that's some bitch-made type of freaking mannerisms that we're seeing. But ultimately, I want to leave y'all with this, is that Shakur Stevenson, don't say I never told you that he's the emperor of boxing. The torch, it doesn't have anything to do with Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this torch passing and all that, it's not going to have anything to do with Shakur Stevenson. You know why? Because Canelo is no way he can pass the torch to Shakur. There's no way. The torch will be taken, not hand delivered or not passed on. That's not in a bad way. It's the fact that Canelo will be leaving the sport. Canelo will be leaving the sport soon. And him being dropped off the pound for pound list, people are going to have to accept the reality that it's going to be someone else in the shoot. Teofimo Lopez has a star power to do big things, moving up in weight. But right now, the one who's making noise and talking the right talk and walking it is Stevenson. And also the way we look at his star power potential. I'm telling you, minimal, I see Stevenson being a 5-weight champion. Minimal. Featherweight, junior lightweight, junior welterweight, welterweight. That's 5, y'all. Look, that's 5, and he's not even at 54 yet. That's 5 just stopping at welterweight. That's 5 weight divisions stopping at 147. You trying to tell me Shakur Stevenson is not going to be, he's not going to want to compete at 154? Minimal, he's going to be a 5-weight champion. That's minimal, y'all. The good thing, as I leave you all with this, the good thing about the Teofimo Lopez's, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney's, is the fact that they will all somehow, some way reside in the same weight class at one point in time before they leave the sport. They will potentially be at 47, 40. It all depends. They're going to be at the same weight class competing. These big names that we're talking about, the stopping point will get real interesting at 47. Seriously. You think right now, I mean, you know, the little hype that was behind the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, it's going to be nothing compared to when these guys get up to 47. Nothing. You're going to be talking about multi-division champions. These guys are still going to be pretty damn, you know, around the same age as some of the champions we got up there at 47 right now. But a lot of these names you're seeing will be multi-division champions by the time they get up there across the board. It's not going to just be a Crawford, okay? It's going to be champions at 47 with multiple divisions to their name. Guarantee it. I guarantee it. It's not going to just be a Crawford up there. You're not going to see too many Errol Spences and Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. It's not. It's going to be more so Manny Pacquiao's. I'm not saying the 8th division. I'm saying multi-division champions, Terrence Crawford and so forth across the board. Because this class that you see right here at 35 and the class we have at 40, all those guys are going to be moving up sooner or later. And a lot of these guys will be a champion and other weight divisions prior to getting up to 47. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And to be honest with you people, to be absolutely honest, I really can't wait to this 147 class right here and move on. I really can't wait till they move on. I'm pretty much exhausted with what I'm seeing. And I can talk about this on the back end, you know, of this live, but I'm pretty much exhausted with what I'm seeing with Errol Spence. I'm pretty much exhausted with individuals putting Errol Spence as their top pound for pound fighter. I can't take that shit serious. I really can't. You know, it's like handing you a spoon of you know, giving you a spoon of shit and giving you a spoon of Nutella and say it's the same shit. It's the same thing. Which one you want? They both got the same texture to it. What you want? Because the welterweight division can be so much better if we can get some of the fights we want. So I'm really hoping one or two things happen. I hope Terrence Crawford is able to get the Manny Pacquiao fight. And I'm hoping sooner or later that Errol Spence fights Terrence Bud Crawford. But I'm so exhausted with hearing the bullshit from Errol Spence. I'm so exhausted from people putting him top pound for pound. He is not. And then therefore you expect those who are tuned in from the outside to advocate for Errol Spence when I'm trying to give criteria which I don't have to go to college for. I mean, when I was in college, I didn't have to sit up here and say, you know what? Can I take a general ed on boxing? I just want to take up a class on how I should grade a boxer as being one of the greatest. Is it a boxing class I can take, please? You know, I'm talking about not the physical hit the bag, something that will help me better assess the criteria for grading a fighter who's top pound for pound, a fighter who's considered one of the best of all times, a fighter who, what is the criteria that I can better assess being on the pound for pound list? All that, because Errol Spence defeating Kell Brook, who people give hardly any respect, coming down from that beating he took from Triple G. And then you go in there with Shawn Porter, who also lost to Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Kell Brook. So guess what? Errol Spence defeated him in his backyard. Okay, cool. Shawn Porter, he lost to Kell Brook. He lost to Keith Thurman. How many times Shawn Porter has to lose for people to like, okay, now he has 3 losses. What's next? What's next for Shawn Porter? Is he going to vacate the sport, or just say he go over there and he fight Terrence Crawford? He loses. Boom. He has losses against the big names. He's no different than Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia has lost to the big names in the welterweight division. So if Danny Garcia is losing, are you going to credit Danny Garcia for having 2 division champion, 2 weight classes as a champion? But yet you're going to catapult who, first of all, who's not on the pound for pound list, but yet you're going to elevate Errol Spence off notoriety and say just because he defeated Kell Brook and Shawn Porter, who wasn't undefeated, Kell Brook wasn't undefeated, you're going to keep putting him at your top pound for pound list off favoritism, but yet you squander Terrence Bud Crawford's accolades as a boxer as if he ain't did shit. Pass the word. I really want to have a full panel of individuals, and let's talk about the pound for pound criteria. I really want to talk about the buffoonery that's going up here with people putting Bud Crawford below Errol Spence on the pound for pound list. I want to talk about the buffoonery of individuals mad that Canelo Alvarez is able to do what he want to do, but yet you're not looking at Errol Spence doing the exact same shit. He's doing what the fuck he want to do, but he just don't have the power. He doesn't have the credentials yet. He's trying to put himself in a position by fighting in Cowboy Stadium, but he doesn't have it yet. But I really want to talk about what's going on with Errol Spence and why he's sitting up here being placed on the top pound for pound list, number 1, in front of Canelo Alvarez in the eyes of some people. And you know that's absolute and utter nonsense. That's foolishness. Not only is Errol Spence on a lot of people's pound list behind Alexander Usyk, but when they look at it, Alexander Usyk, at least he's unified the division. No matter how dense and how you put it, the banality of it, he's still unified the cruiserweight division. So with Errol Spence, he ain't unified for undisputed at all. That's what I want to have a full panel about. I want everybody, just like the song from Houdini, the freaks come out at night. I want all the boxing heads to come out and let's have a panel on how in the hell are you all putting Errol Spence in front of Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing about this boxing shit when you all continue to put Errol Spence at the top pound for pound? What am I missing? What am I missing, man? It's no way Errol Spence is top pound for pound. Errol Spence haven't even been able to do what Teofimo Lopez has been able to. He hasn't even been able to do what Inoue has been able to do. So you're going to take a lighter division and say Inoue, he's a Japanese fighter. Don't nobody know shit about that. He hasn't even been able to do what Canelo's been able to do, multi-division champion. Errol Spence is a single division, 2-time world champion. Now you take that back and tell it to whoever you feel like, but I'm getting sick and tired, especially my people, sitting up here putting Errol Spence in front of Bud Crawford, and the man just because he has Kell Brook and Sean Porter on his resume. And then you want to be nice, you'll say, you know what? He fought Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was undefeated. He was a 4-division champion. Yeah, Mikey Garcia, you want to say he came up 1 division, but he came up from 2, goddammit. Because he wasn't at 140 the time he went up and moved to fight at welterweight. So stop passing that bullshit ass narrative. How in the hell can y'all have 2 fighters in the same weight class, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, the same fucking weight class, 2 black fighters at that, the same weight class, which rarely happen on the top pound for pound list. You rarely have top 5 pound for pound guys in the same freaking division. Now, we did have for a minute when Canelo was at 160, we did have Canelo and Triple G on the pound for pound list. Absolutely, we did. But when were they top 5? When were they top 4? I am not trying to understand why we have individuals putting out pound for pound lists, and that shit, come on, man. It will make Ray Charles say, oh my God, I can see the bullshit in that. Stop it. Just stop it, I tell you. You can't sit up here and continue to put Errol Spence at the top pound for pound list. You can't sit up here and say Bud Crawford's 3 division ain't shit because he fought what is considered one of the weakest unified champions. It don't fucking matter. The point is he was provided the opportunity, he seized it, and he moved on. Errol Spence has been campaigning from his 4th fight to now in the welterweight division. And believe me, I'm not going to go too far into this. He's been campaigning since his 4th fight in the welterweight division. And all of a sudden, as of recent, he picks up a world championship. He should have been thriving. He should have been striving to do better. He could have took some more risk. What was it? He wasn't ready? He's been campaigning in the welterweight division majority of his professional life. He started off at 54 and he dropped down to 47. So therefore, when I hear people compare his resume at welterweight to Terrence Crawford, it is lunacy beyond means. Because anybody that's been campaigning at a division for that long period of time, they should have an absolute stellar, I'm talking about stellar freaking damn resume. Not just with Kell Brook and Sean Porter. They should have a stellar resume. We should see some shit like T.O. in 15 fights, in 16 fights, what he was able to do. If y'all want to say pound for pound conversation with Errol Spence, then what is the criteria for putting somebody has been the top pound for pound just off 2 world titles? You know what I'm saying? Just off 2 world titles. You cannot sit up here and prove to me that Danny Garcia elevates him above Terrence Crawford just because Danny Garcia has a decent resume. You know what I'm saying? The Danny Garcia that fought for umpteen vacant titles. The Danny Garcia that had 2 catchweight fights before he went up to 47. The Danny Garcia who stepped in and fought for a vacant title at 47. Robert Guerrero, anybody give him any credit for facing Robert Guerrero, who lost his welterweight title on his 2nd defense? So you're trying to praise Errol Spence for defeating Danny Garcia, who y'all was calling the cherry picker of all cherry pickers? That is absurdity to think that you want them to take us serious in this YouTube community. When people are up here going off the culture, when you don't want to be fair, you don't want to be fucking fair. You just saying, oh, well, all of a sudden Canelo is a cherry picker. But Canelo is indeed what Errol Spence said he was. Was Errol Spence being genuine when he said Canelo was the pound for pound list? In my opinion, he had no other choice. But of course, people are going to say, well, Canelo don't have unification undisputed. It doesn't matter when it comes to Terrence Crawford because the people are all saying that it doesn't fucking matter because he fought in Dongo. But Canelo, he's been moving up divisions. That's what's consistent with pound for pound criteria. If that's any other criteria, right? You have to fight division, move up, right? So he was able to do that. But they're mad at because he's vacating titles and he's not putting forth too much emphasis. You know what I'm saying? Now that he's unified at 68, people's like, they still want to say Errol Spence is pound for pound the best in boxing. Look, if you're going to come on WCS, don't come on here talking and trying to cuss somebody out and trying to, this nigga this, that nigga that. I ain't got time to be hearing that. I've been living longer than most of y'all cats. I done heard everything. I've heard it in foreign countries, and I heard it in Garrison. I've heard it, and that ain't gonna change. I grew up in the South, and I was called nigga at a young age. I know about all the racism shit and all this. So you want to come up here and talk that bullshit to me and get all upset about Errol Spence has done all this, that, and the other, and what has Bud done? I'm gonna say, so what is the criteria though? Does any one of these people that is on Errol Spence's resume compare to Floyd Mayweather? It don't matter if he lost or not. Is it comparable to Floyd Mayweather? Now all of a sudden, Errol Spence want to move up to 60 and take a L against Canelo Alvarez? Go right ahead, Errol. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and get your first loss. Go ahead and fight Canelo Alvarez because you ain't winning that shit. I don't have Errol Spence win against Terrence Crawford. But even though, as much as I disagree with it, I still look at how when I see a thumbnail up there and I hear people, Errol Spence is top pound for pound, I gotta tune in. You know why I tune in? Because it's just more food for thought to the circus. Like there's no way that you can convince me that Errol Spence did anything to be above Terrence Crawford. He hasn't. We're going to take a single motherfucking division with Kell Brook, who people wasn't giving any credit in stepping there with Terrence Crawford. Even though after that fight with Errol Spence, he had 3 motherfucking fights at 54 and dropped back down against Terrence Crawford and got stopped. People wasn't getting Kell Brook anything. Is anybody talking about Kell Brook besides me? No. Scratch him off. What's next? Who else are you going to do? You want to be technical? Well, let's go Chris Algieri, the nutritionist. Let's go Lamont Peterson out of DC. Is good guy. Never said Lamont Peterson, like Lamont Peterson. But come on, man. He was giving me a lot of high guard, Winky Wright type shit. And Errol Spence lit him up. Tailor-made style. He go in there, Sean Porter. I enjoyed the fight. Real talk. I enjoyed the fight, but that's vintage Sean Porter. That's vintage Sean Porter. So let's take Sean Porter. Let's take Sean Porter. That's one of the best fights you have on your resume. All right. But even him, he wasn't undefeated. And then you take Danny Garcia coming off an accident. And we all know what Danny Garcia consists of. You know, he was reputable enough to have 2 losses, just like Sean Porter, heading in there with Errol Spence, and he defeated both of them. Next. The same guy who fought for the vacant WBC against Sean Porter and lost, but yet he gets an opportunity because he still has a name. Next. Who's great on Errol Spence's resume? I want y'all to ponder that and think about that. And I want to have a panel. You know what I'm saying? I really want to have a panel of the heavy hitters that kind of dead this shit. I've seen Team Crawford be on other channels. I've seen, the back and forth, how people give Bud no respect. I seen the back and forth with Errol Spence, how people try to make an argument as to why he's top pound for pound. Maybe I have too many, I have cataracts. I need some surgery. I need something. But this really doesn't have to do with the physical visual. It has a lot to do with the mental. Because I can't fathom how you all continue to say that Errol Spence is top pound for pound. What in the hell am I missing that's on his resume? Why are y'all so anxious not to give Canelo top pound for pound? Errol Spence say he was top pound for pound. It may have been genuine or not disingenuous. He might have been saying it just because he had plans of calling out Canelo and he wanted to be in his good graces. You know what I'm saying? He want to be in Canelo good graces and say, "Hey, Canelo, I said you was pound for pound, man. Can you give me that fight at 60?" So if Errol Spence go to 60 and fight Canelo, what is he fighting for again? What is he fighting for again? Because like Nip said last time I checked, what are they fighting for now? Man, Canelo is not paying these guys attention that's playing catch up. They ain't, man. Canelo ain't paying these motherfuckers any attention, dog. I tell anybody, especially the black fighters, I tell them, if you want to be ahead, be leaders and be ahead. Be in a position to make the calls. Stop. No, I'm tired of hearing Errol Spence say he's the best welterweight. I'm tired. Who cares? Now he out talking about he make the most money at PBC. Who cares if you make the most money outside of Deontay Wilder at PBC? Who freaking cares? Nobody cares if you're saying that you're the top dog at welterweight. What you want them to say, Errol, is that you're the top dog in boxing. You're damn near got both feet out. You damn near you close. You got half or 3/4 of a foot with a knee. You know what I'm saying? Your leg is dangling out that motherfucking retirement. Give or take 5 more years, bro. You're gonna get there. You're gonna see the changes. If it's not in the ring, you're gonna see it outside the ring. When you get around 35, 36 years old, you're going to see some changes and you're going to feel it and everything. But right now, being at my age, I need motherfucking compensation. Because people are sitting up here continuing to say that Errol Spence is top pound for pound. That is unfair. That's unfair to keep on verbalizing that Errol Spence is top pound for pound. A 2-time world champion with a resume with Kell Brook and Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. None of which had an undefeated record. But if you compare Terrence Crawford, like I said before, you compare all the zeros that he has on his freaking resume since moving up the welterweight, why are you going to sit up here and hold the eraser? Oh, we're not going to talk about that. Let's get the eraser. Somebody get the eraser. Erase the board, please. We're not talking about that. Bravo Sierra, bullshit. I don't know when, but I have to make a thumbnail. But I would definitely like to talk to the heavy hitters about this Errol Spence debacle. It is no way. There's no way that you can convince me that Errol Spence, just because he's been at welterweight, is a pound for pound best. There's no way that you can say you're the best at what you do and saying that Errol Spence is Errol Spence is the top pound for pound. There's no way that you can convince me that going into this fight with Terrence Crawford, him saying 70-30 is anything more than bullshit. We're not going to count how many divisions. What we're going to scrutinize the resume, right? When it comes to Crawford, we're not going to give him credit for the multi-time divisions, but it's there. It happens. You know, you have individuals that were freaking Halo Mikey Garcia moving up as a 4-division champion to face Errol Spence, but yet Terrence Crawford steps up the welterweight division and defeats a champion who defeated an 8-division champion. And people say Manny Pacquiao was old, but yet he steps up at the welterweight division and defeats Keith Thurman, and now all of a sudden, oh man, Pacquiao's the shit. It's biasness, man. It's extreme biasness. Real talk. It's extreme bias. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm still reading thumbnails, and Errol Spence is a motherfucking pound for pound best in boxing. It's no way in 2020, 2021 that Errol Spence is the pound for pound best. Why are we still pushing this shit? He's not in front of Crawford. And on a lot of lists, he's not in front of Alexander Usyk, who I could care less for. You even have Naoya Inoue. That's a multi-division champion. Look, currently unified at bantamweight, and supposedly trying to face John Casimiro. He's even a multi-division champion. But man, y'all gonna stop giving Errol Spence a pass, man. I don't sit up here and despise Errol Spence. I just despise like what he's been doing lately with all the excuses with Terrence Crawford. And then he's up here, people are putting him top pound for pound. It's no fucking way off the WBC and the IBF title, off who he's fought, that you're gonna say that, damn, he's the pound for pound best in boxing off a single division, y'all. What records has he set? Who has he did it better than? I don't even want to be petty, but wasn't Errol Spence, do you even remember his Olympic accolades? Did he have any Olympic accolades? Did anybody win the gold, the silver, the bronze? I'm just being real. Did anything go down like that? So if you wasn't excelling at the Olympic level and you turned profession, have he did anything special? All the time he had at the welterweight division, has he did anything special up to date? Before picking up the IBF title, did he take risk? Did he fight anybody that you can just look at and say, damn, that's a good fight right there? Shit. Man, Errol Spence was tiptoeing through the welterweight division being safe, man, because some people thought he might not have been ready. He returned off an accident, and now what? You see Errol Spence at horse races. Now he's into, showing a different light, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to knock him for trying to turn the key. All right? I'm not going to knock him for that shit. But what I am knocking him for is continuance of the nonsense that's irritating and a waste of fucking time out here on YTBC saying that Errol Spence is a top pound for pound. He's not in front of Crawford. He's not in front of freaking Canelo Alvarez. So you can't sit up here, my people, and say, man, you're being biased towards Errol Spence. And I'm like, Errol Spence said it himself that Canelo was a top pound for pound. So what's the fucking problem? Canelo doesn't have long left in the sport. So take advantage of what you can take advantage. The only fucked up part about it is that Errol Spence is damn near out of the sport in several years too. That's the fucked up thing about it. But no one is going to come over here and convince me that Errol Spence's resume right now supersedes that and comparable to those greats who did it before? Who are you comparing him to? Who? What welterweight you comparing him to? What great welterweight do we see? What welterweight we gonna compare Errol Spence to off his accolades just now? Off of Danny Garcia, off of Sean Porter and Kell Brook. And then the ones they're gonna say, "Hey man, nobody hear about that bullshit, man. He fought Mikey Garcia. He proved that he can go the distance." I say, man, I'm gonna give you that same pain that I gave Devin Haney with that bullshit. Don't do it. When you give yourself the boogeyman title, goddamn it, you better scare some motherfuckers. And right now, it's a lot of people out here scaring the fuck out of me with this damn Errol Spence bullshit. Appreciate y'all for stopping through, turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.